Hey, don't pretend like as if that beat does not slap and it didn't have you dancing in the background. Big up your damn selves. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. And I'm in a different location today. I'm in Ireland on the international break, visiting the family. And I must say, this tantalizing triangle that is upon us in the football community. Football is well and truly back with this talk of the town stuff. There's drama, even though I thought it was me a quiet period. Tuchel to Nagelsmann to Potter. There's so many links. There's more links than the ITKs can handle. There's so many links, more than you can believe. And I have to get stuck into this. I have to talk about this. And we're going to start with the hypothetical. Respect to Manchester City and Real Madrid. Of course, I'm in no position to be disrespecting, but I'm just saying the hypothetical potential of Bayern Munich versus Chelsea in a semi-final if both teams were to get the job done. Now, already had Bayern Munich as slight favourites. However, now with Thomas Tuchel in charge, a knockout competition expert, of course, back-to-back Champions League finals with Chelsea and PSG, and then an unfortunate knockout to Real Madrid in the last 8, just couldn't quite make it stick. In the comeback, we move into a situation now where Chelsea could be up against their former manager. Todd Bowie could be up against the manager that he sacked, Potter, the replacement. That could be insane. The emotions will be high. The stakes will be higher. I won't even know how to compute that situation in my own brain. I will be discombobulated. So complicated. This situation is insane, guys. If this happens, I won't know what to think, what to feel. It will be so weird to see a guy that, listen, he's ingrained in Chelsea history. He had his own banner. He had his own song. He gave us the farewell letter on Twitter that brought tears to my eyes. He was only following us on Twitter, no other club. He was fully enwrapped and ingrained and enrolled into this Chelsea ecosystem like no one else. And the thing is with him as well is that he took us through the most difficult times. It's not just about what he won, but also what he went through and the work, the stress that he went through, losing his partner and regaining all of these things, private life, and still managed to work up the courage to handle the high pressure situations and give us wins and give us, points on the board and take us to finals. Oh, so close against Liverpool. Could have done a double. It pains me to talk about it, but this guy, I love him, Tommy T. And I must say, I'm buzzing for him. I'm so happy he's gone to Bayern Munich. I'm so happy he didn't go to Tottenham. We've had it with Villas-Boas. We had it with Mourinho. We had it with Conte. I thought we were going to get stabbed in the back again, but this guy said, no, you don't have to watch your back with me. I'm going to an elite level club. I'm not dropping down. I know my worth. This guy is an elite coach, an elite manager. And I'm so glad that he knows where he belongs. He waited and waited and waited. People tried to put disrespect on his name. I saw links to West Ham on certain platties. I saw, oh, he's unemployed. Oh, why is he not in a job? Because he's waiting for the right job. And Bayern Munich, that is the level. And Real Madrid were also thinking of knocking on his door in the summer, I believe, if Carlo Ancelotti was to go to Brazil. Obviously, Rodrigo and Vinny have been playing some games there. And the thing is with this year is this is why Bayern Munich have made this move. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Nagelsmann is a top young coach. One of the most promising young coaches out there in the world right now. He was highly sought after at Leipzig and did a great job at Hoffenheim. And the thing is with him as well, this season, 37 games, 112 goals scored and 3 losses. He's into the last 8 of the Champions League. Yes, he's a point behind Dortmund in the Bundesliga. But this is not a guy that is coming off of the back of a slapping, off a beatdown. He's leaving with his head fairly high, held fairly high at Bayern Munich. Now, yes, he hasn't brought the Champions League in that first season, obviously the apprentice season, you could call it, losing to Villarreal in the last 8. But he's still got a lot of stock to his name. His value is still high. I don't think it's deteriorated. There's definitely lessons to be learned. It seems like behind the scenes, he may have been losing a few players, not happy with the way he wanted to do things systematically, maybe in the way that they played. And also as well, the holiday that he took, that he's currently on, seems like the board didn't take a liking to that as well in a situation where everybody else is working and obviously big games are upcoming. So it seems like there were fractions and issues behind the scenes between manager, player, board. It wasn't, harmonious. But still a very talented coach, plays very attacking football and has them scoring at a higher rate this season than last season, despite the fact there's a big drop off between Lewandowski and Choupo-Moting. So, you know, this is not a guy that is just, you know, any old Tom, Dick, and Harry. This is a guy that is going to be wanted by the same Real Madrid if they were to lose, I think, an Ancelotti. Obviously, Tottenham, you know, will probably be interested as well. But, you know, this is a guy that is hot property. And the reason why, obviously, we know the Tuchel to Chelsea link, the Tuchel to Todd Boehly link, the Tuchel to, you know, just the whole, you know, situation of him coming back home. That link is strong. That part of the triangle is thick, more than you can believe. And Potter, of course, the pressure that he's under. But Nagelsmann to Chelsea. Let's talk about that link. Let's talk about that part of the triangle. How thick is that? Because Christopher Vivell, he's had him as a sporting technical director before in charge. So Vivell knows him very well. Probably one of his favorites, right? And then obviously Christopher Nkunku's coming in. That's another link. And we know Todd Boehly is a massive fan of the Red Bull model. He aspires to almost replicate it in some capacity. And where did this manager kind of birth and you know earn some of his stripes? In that Red Bull model. So this is a lot of link. This is a lot of strong link, in my opinion, and it puts more pressure on Potter. I'm not saying in the short term. I don't think a manager that was, you know, again, both of these managers were bought out of their contracts. That's how highly they were rated and regarded and kind of ranked at their Brightons and Leipzigs, right? 15 million euros for Nagelsmann to go to Bayern Munich, plus 5 million for 2 friendlies and 5 million extra if he did a Bundesliga and a Champions League double, which he obviously didn't do. 2026, his contract was going to expire. Big payout probably for Bayern Munich there. Not an easy decision to do, but Thomas Tuchel obviously comes with no strings attached. He's free, unemployed, unattached, and they decided to make that move before other big clubs did for him in the summer. But Nagelsmann was an expensive manager. And the same with Potter, £21 million release clause from Brighton. On top of that, the wages, you know, 12 million a year for 5 years, 60 million. The staff that came in with him. These are two young, well, Nagelsmann younger, but two youngish with Potter, talented coaches that are highly regarded before making those big moves. And don't get me wrong, Nagelsmann's reputation did take a bit of a hit after losing to Villarreal in the last season. There was a lot of pressure on him. He was out of the German Cup as well. And this was not an easy time for him. So it's not like it's been smooth sailing the whole way. But I would say, yes, he has probably earned his stripes in terms of his talent and his world-renowned status much more than Graham Potter. He's definitely more of a Benesegua. He's something more flavor of the, I won't say flavor of the month, but I would say he's a lot more fancy. You know, he's kind of the hipster that everybody loves. Everybody loves a hipster coach or a hipster type, you know, player. And this is one of them. You know, he is the hipster. So plays a ridiculously high line as well. Sometimes even implemented that back three, similar to Tuchel, similar to Potter. So those links are there as well. But yeah, like I said, that Nagelsmann to Chelsea link is there. And we know Vivell didn't hire Potter. It was more, you know, Bowie, Agbali, and then he's got Win Stanley and Carl McCauley as his kind of backup as well as his coaching staff, his immediate coaching staff. Whereas Vivell, you know, if he was to, I always ask the question, if he came in first before Potter, who would he have hired? And Nagelsmann, if he was available at the time, probably would have been very high up on that list, having previously worked with him, like I said, and Bowie's, you know, admiration of the Red Bull model, etc. So that link is there, and it puts pressure on Potter in the medium. I don't think in the short term, I don't think it'll be this season. I don't think Nagelsmann is a short-term fix or short-term manager. He's another P-word project manager. He's another, you know, young manager that needs time to implement his philosophy. He's another manager as well that doesn't bring you instant success. He hasn't got any Champions League pedigree, no history of winning it or even getting very far for us to be looking at him and saying, oh, he's going to be the one that brings us the third. I don't think that's the situation. You know, when he comes up against top managers, I've still seen mistakes from Nagelsmann, things that he needs to improve on as well, tactically as well, at his time at Leipzig and also last season. So he's not a quick fix, but is he got a higher ceiling, a higher potential than Potter? He probably does. And that is where the medium-term pressure on Potter will come. You know, if he's not off to a good start next season, after a preseason, which will be chaotic, like I spoke about on All You Can Eat Chelsea, this guy could be still waiting in the wings. And then it becomes a situation where it's not a Simeone, it's not a Mourinho, it's not a Conte, it's not an Allegri, it's not somebody that goes completely against the grain of what we're trying to do in this new look Chelsea, right? This guy does fit. He does tick a lot of boxes, and that puts this current manager under pressure. So that link is strong. Now, like I said, to finalize that triangle, we end with Potter. You know, Potter's got a big game coming up in, you know, Ancelotti in Real Madrid. That is where he's got to kind of continue to try and prove himself, because those wins against Leicester and Leeds, as great as they were, and obviously Dortmund, it doesn't just wipe away all the misery that we've gone through prior. The more time that goes on, the more we expect him to implement, to embed, and to impose himself and to pick up those points. The Everton result was poor. There's a lot of big games coming up towards the end of the season. I've mentioned them before. You already know them if you check the calendar. The Champions League against Real Madrid, if it was an elite level, world-class manager, I would be giving us every chance. But obviously Potter, it's his first rodeo in the Champions League this season against Real Madrid and Ancelotti. We don't know how it's going to go in-game management, tactically, etc. It's a lot of pressure. With Nagelsmann a free agent, look over your shoulder. Check your rear view mirrors. Make sure that you indicate, because my brother, if you don't put your hands on both them steering wheels, you will crash this car. And it looks like Nagelsmann is AA. he's AA. If you know who AA is in England, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. This triangle is very much complete. They could face each other. There's a former manager in there. There's a former, you know, there's a sacking in there and a bit of beef, you know, WhatsApp messages about Ronaldo. And there's a new young kid on the block who is liked and well thought, you know, well sought after by said members in our board. So it's all there and it's all pieces to the puzzle and it's all very interesting. I am very, 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 very excited to see what happens, to be honest, just because I like carnage and chaos. And that's probably why I'm a Chelsea fan. So listen, let me know what you think in the comments about Tuchel going to Bayern Munich. Does that strengthen their hold on that Champions League tie against Man City? Remember, he's got Pep's number from his time at Chelsea, obviously 1 point behind in the Bundesliga. Just to finalize this script, if you're talking about script writing, his first game for Bayern Munich will be against Dortmund in the league. You couldn't write it any better. Will be against Dortmund, like his former club, to try and regain top spot. It's just brilliant, honestly. I love football. What do you think on Nagelsmann that he's available? Do you want him now? Do you want him in the summer? You giving Potter more time? Just let me know in the comments, and obviously let me know your thoughts on Potter and the confidence levels there, and how much pressure do you think this puts him under? Does it put him under more pressure, etc.? Big up your damn selves. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash up the likes and leave those comments, like I said, down below. I want to hear and see what you guys are thinking and feeling about this situation, because there's a lot of drama and it does relate to us in more ways than you can believe. So until then, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace. Perfect.